that, we'll start with a new topic, National Health Scheme. So, under this topic, there are many subtopics. These are the total contents. We will deal about the health scheme, that is ESI acts and scopes, administration, benefits to employees under this ESI. Then comes to the CGHS. Under CGHS, again, categories of people, the main component of the scheme, role of the nurse in National Health Program, about that. Then we will deal about the health insurance. Under that, there are many like voluntary health schemes and general insurance corporation. Again, employer-based schemes, insurance offered by NGOs, life insurance corporation, health insurance products from some private companies. So these are the topics we will deal under this major topic. First is about the health schemes. Under that, ESI is very important. That means Employees State Insurance Act 1948. This act was passed in 1948 and amended in 1975, 1984 and 1989 for the various changes. Amendment means we are reevaluating the act and we are making some changes. That is what amendment. The act provides benefits in cash and kind to the industrial workers in case of sickness, maternity and employment injury, thereby removing the economic fear and physical fear. We are giving support to the employees who are working, and if they get sickness or maternity leave if they want, or any hospital charge if they cannot fill, that can be considered under this ESI Act. What are its scope? It extends the whole of India. The amendment made in 1975, it includes the following establishment also. This includes hotels and restaurants, cinemas and theatres, road transfer establishment, newspaper establishment and shops. This came into action from 1/5/2010. The Act covers all employees, manual, clerical, supervisory and technical, getting 15,000 per month as a insurance. It is named because of the certain reason, that is employee state insurance. Employee means because it is meant for employees. It is not for employers, it is meant for employees. State, because government of state takes upon itself the responsibility of intervening and providing remedial measures in the event the worker meets with crisis. If any problem happens to the employee and if he comes in contact with any crisis, then the state government will take care of his health and his any solution if they need. And insurance, because workers have to pay a small percentage of their wages as premiums, whether they get immediate benefits or not. Insurance, here it is given because from his salary itself, certain amount of the money will be cut as a premium, whether he will get immediate benefit or not, but it will be cut. How the administration is done? The administration of ESI scheme under the Act is entrusted to an autonomous body called ESI Corporation. It is an autonomous body. The body consists of the following members. Chairman, he will be the Union Minister of Labour, and Vice Chairman is the Secretary to Government of India, Ministry of Labour, and 5 representatives of central government, 1 representative from each state government, 1 representative for all union territories, 5 representatives of employees, 5 representatives of employers, 2 representatives from medical profession, 3 members from Parliament. So this is the administration system works under the ESI Corporation. What are its functions? It makes policy. Second one is standing committee. First one was administration. Second one is standing committee. It constituted from the members of the ESI Corporation. Whoever the members are there in the ESI Corporation, they itself become the standing committee. That will be head, first one. He is the Director General of Corporation. He will be assisted by Insurance Commissioner, Medical Commissioner, Financial Commissioner and Actuary. And what are its functions? It executes the policy. Okay. Administration will make the policy, this standing committee will execute the policy. Third one is Medical Benefit Council. The head will be Director General of Health Services as a chairman. And there will be Deputy Director General of Health Services, Medical Commissioner of ESI Corporation, one member from each state, three representative of employees, and 5 members of medical profession. What are its functions? It is advisory body to advise on the organization of medical relief. If the people or insurance claimers need any relief, medical relief, this body, okay, Medical Benefit Council will advise the council or ESI corporation whether he is to get or not. That is the function. ESI Corporation has set up 23 state-wise regional offices and 26 sub-regional offices, at 2 divisional offices and 611 branch offices, 197 cash offices and 352 inspection offices all over the country. These are the statistics which are coming under the ESI Corporation. Medical facilities are provided through networks of 1427 ESI dispensaries, over 2100 panel clinics, 307 diagnostic centers. Besides, there are 143 ESI hospitals, 43 hospital lectures with over 27,000 beds. This is the count. How many clinics and hospitals are coming under the ESI. The different sources of finance to run the schemes are. How these schemes are running? First one, contribution by the employees, that is 1.75% of their wages. Contribution by the employers, it is 4.75% the wages of their workers. Wages they are giving to the worker, they will withhold little bit, and that will be coming under the ESI contribution. And state government, 1/8 of total cost of medical care will be provided, and ESI corporation, 7/8 of total cost of medical care will be given. And government of India will contribute 2/3 of the administration expenditure. Only the administration expenditure will be filled by the government of India. What are the benefits to employees? Okay, ESI corporation, its statistics, the source, everything we have seen. Now benefits, there are many benefits. First one, sickness benefit, maternity benefit, disablement benefit, dependent benefit, funeral benefit, medical benefit, and rehabilitation benefit. For this everything, the the money will be sent by the insurance will be claimed, can be claimed by a person. First one is sickness benefit. Employee suffering from long-term illness, the benefit of cash is extended beyond 91 days. It is called extended sickness benefit. The benefit is payable up to 309 days provided the insured person has put in 2 years of continuous service. This is with effect from 1/1/2000. If the person is working under ESI for 2 years, at least 2 years, then he can get the benefit, sickness benefit for up to 309 days. It is called extended sickness benefit if he is suffering from any long-term illnesses only. So what are the diseases coming under the sickness benefit? Infectious disease, neoplasms, endocrine, metabolic and nutritional disorder, diabetes with complications, disorder of the nervous system, immature cataract, disease of the CVD system, that is cardiovascular disease system, diseases of the digestive disease, orthopedic disease, psychosis, and others. Next one is maternity benefit. It goes without saying that this cash benefit is available for only insured women workers. Okay? The duration of benefit for miscarriage and for premature birth is 6 weeks. If the baby is miscarriage or premature birth is, then benefit will get only for 6 weeks. For sickness arising out of pregnancy is 30 days, and for confinement is 12 days. If the sickness, any sickness related to pregnancy, then it will be 30 days, and confinement it is 12 weeks. Disablement benefit, free medical treatment for those disabled workers. Disability should be from the occupation or injury in the course of employment. Disability may be temporary or permanent. Okay, if the disablement happened only through the occupation, okay, if he is working under ESI, then only the disablement benefit will be acquired. Next, dependent benefit. Cash benefit goes to the dependent of the insured worker who dies as a result of employment injury. The payment is given periodically. Dependent benefit means whoever dependent on the insured worker, like head of the member is died in the ESI employment, then his family will get the dependent benefit periodically. Every month they will get the benefit. Funeral benefit. This is an immediate cash benefit not exceeding rupees 5,000 given to the eldest surviving family member in an event of death of the insured worker, irrespective of the cause of death, towards the expenses on funeral ceremony. Okay, irrespective of any cause of death, they will get the 5,000 rupees. The person, immediate head of the died person, will get 5,000 rupees for the funeral charge. Medical benefit. Unlike all the other benefits, this is benefit in kind and not in cash. This consists of 3 types of medical care to the insured person. Okay, this here cash is not given; it's like kind. Full medical care, which includes hospitalization free of cost, not only to the insured person but also to the members of the family in case of sickness, employment injury, and maternity. Okay, here cash is not given, but free treatment can be given. Restricted medical care, this consists of only outpatient care, and the expanded medical care, this consists of full medical care short of hospitalization. Okay, if the little hospitalization needed, then the person will get the free treatment. The medical care is provided directly or indirectly. That is under ESI hospital or ESI benefits under other hospitals. The direct patterns are, this is provided through the agency of ESI hospitals and dispensaries where the medical and paramedical persons are working full-time, appointed directly by the ESI corporation. Okay? And indirect pattern, this is also called as panel system of medical care because the care is provided indirectly through a panel or private medical practitioner at the rate of 1 per 750 family units. Okay? Direct pattern, their own ESI hospitals and the dispensaries are giving the care. But in the indirect pattern, some private hospitals may give the care, but the benefits can be acquired by the ESI. And the miscellaneous medical benefits, free supply of artificial limbs, spectacles, hearing aids, hand-driven cycles, walking calipers, surgical braces, and like those workers who are disabled due to employment injury. Okay? If the person is disabled due to the employment under the ESI, then he will get a free supply of articles. Preventive inoculation, free contraceptives and cash incentives for undergoing sterilization, training in yoga exercises. So these are the benefits they will get under the medical benefits. What are the costs of medical benefits? This has been increasing steadily. Per capita cost of medical benefits was rupees 23.79 during 1961 to 62. Then it increased to 67.53 during 1973 to 74, and now it is 9.5 during 2001 and 2002. This will be filled by the ESI. Then going to the rehabilitation benefit. On monthly payment of rupees 10, the insured person and family members continue to get medical treatment after permanent disablement or retirement. Okay? Monthly, they should pay they should pay only 10 rupees, the insured person and the family. Then after the disablement or retirement, they will get the continuous periodic benefits. What are the benefits to employees? Exemption from the application of Workmen's Compensation Act 1923, exemption from Maternity Benefit Act 1961, exemption from payment of medical allowance to employees and their dependents or arranging for their medical care, rebate under the Income Tax Act on contribution deposited in the ESI account. These are the exemptions they will get from the ESI. These employees will get from the ESI. Okay. Whatever Workmen Compensation Act 1923 means whatever happens under the industry or the company or the working area, employer should pay whatever charge to the medical side of the employee. But since ESI came, this will be filled by the ESI itself. Even the maternity also, before the person whoever working, the employee working the employer should pay and give the leave like maternity leave for the patient from mother. But nowadays ESI came, this can be filled and leave can be given by the ESI itself. So like this, even the payment of medical allowance and income tax act and contribution deposit in the ESI act. So tax also will be decreased for the employer. So that's all about the ESI. Let's move into the CGHS. It is Central Government Health Scheme. CGHS means Central Government Health Scheme. It provides comprehensive healthcare facilities for the central government employees and pensioners and their dependents residing in CGHS covered cities. Only in the CGHS covered cities, it's only they will get the pensions and the certain facilities. Okay? It started in 1954 and now it is operation is in certain states and the cities like Allahabad, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Bhubaneswar and till Trivandrum and Jammu. Okay, these are the cities coming under the CGHS. It provides comprehensive health care to the CGHS beneficiaries in India. The medical facilities are provided through wellness centers, polyclinics under allopathic, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha and homeopathy system of medicine. Only indigenous system of medicine can be done under this CGHS. The numbers include, there are 248 allopathic dispensaries coming under CGHS, 19 polyclinic, 78 Ayush clinic, 3 yoga centers, 65 laboratories and 17 dental units. These are coming under the CGHS. Then how the people can be categorized under CGHS? All central government servants paid from civil estimates other than those employed under Delhi administration except members of Delhi police force. If it coming to the Delhi, their administration expenses everything done by the Delhi government itself except the Delhi police force. They will be given incentives from the central government. Pensioners drawing pensions from civil estimates and their family members. Honorable members of parliament, honorable judges of Supreme Court of India, ex-members of parliament, employees and pensioners of autonomous bodies covered under CGHS. So these are the people who will get benefits from the CGHS. And it continues with ex-governor and ex-vice president, former prime minister, former judges of Honorable Supreme Court of India and Honorable High Court judges and freedom fighters. So these everyone will get the benefits from the CGHS. It provides services through the following categories of system, that is, we have seen already allopathic, homeopathic, Ayurvedic, Unani, Yoga, Siddha system. What are the main components of the scheme? Here the dispensary services including the domiciliary care are given, like family welfare and mother and child health services, specialist consultation facilities both a dispensary, polyclinic and hospital level including X-ray, ECG and lab examination are done, hospitalization can be done, organization for the purchase, storage, distribution and supply of medicines and other requirements, and health education to beneficiaries. What are the role of nurse in national health program? She should know and understand the various problems in the country and programs which have been planned, organized and implemented to deal with all problems. Okay? She should know about every program which are coming under the central government and CGHS. Be familiar with the activities of the program to be dealt with their problem. Identify endemic problem of the community for whom she is working. Okay? And participate in community survey to determine the extent and nature of the problem. Identify local agencies' responsibilities to implement specific control programs, participate in screening of high-risk cases, identification of cases with any such communicable or non-communicable disease. Okay, so you should screen and identify any communicable or non-communicable disease. Ensure that the patient is diagnosed, treatment is done, care is given. This is the basic service of the nurse. Trace or find out the contact. Okay, whoever come in contact with the disease or the carrier can be screened and identified. Maintain records and compile them and send to higher authorities. Records are to be documented properly and should be sent to the higher authority. Refer the cases to the concerned health agency if necessary. Educate the patient and concerned family members regarding necessary care, preventive measures, precaution to be followed, disinfection of excrement, soiled articles and article used by the patient as and when necessary in certain conditions. Okay. All the basic prevention, promotion and the protection of the person can be done under this by giving the health education. Participate in regular immunization programs. Supervise and train multipurpose health workers, village health guides, DAIs and Anganwadi workers. So she should supervise and should train the multipurpose health workers. So that's what about the ESI and CGHS. We'll deal about health schemes in the next chapter. Thank you.